is ready to blow me down.
Okay, I'm Dr. Kyle Hemsley, and I'm here with Major League pitcher Cody Anderson. Today we're going to go over my top 3 shoulder exercises for pitchers. Now, there are obviously tons of different exercises we can do, and I use a lot of them, but I like these 3 because they're very simple, effective, and they can be done with very minimal equipment in a time-efficient manner. So rather than going into the why right now about all these things that we're going to do, let's go ahead and jump into the exercises, and I'll explain a little bit of that when we get to them. Okay, so the first exercise we're going to do is the shoulder hinge. Now, I have several variations of this, and we'll go through all of them. What I like about the shoulder hinge is that it teaches all of the muscles of the scapula and the shoulder to work effectively together rather than in isolation. Okay, so this first variation we'll call partner-assisted shoulder hinge. So you'll notice he's on his side, involved side down. This bottom knee is slightly bent, top leg straight, and the top hand is just kind of resting somewhere. On the hip is nice. His bottom arm is going to be bent, arm back in external rotation, and the shoulders are stacked. And what I'll instruct him to do here is begin to drive this elbow hard through the floor. Okay? I'm going to come behind him here, and you can reach through if you like. And now I have my chest here to give him a lot of resistance. So what I'll say is, drive hard through the floor, and now slowly let me win. Let me take the mic off here so I don't jam it into you. And slowly let me win. Good. Keep going. So he's starting to get a lot of load through the posterior shoulder here. And when we get to end range, we can tell him to slowly beat me. Good. Okay, let's do one more so they can see. Slowly let me win. And he's beginning to get smoked in the back of the shoulder. Everything's working back there. We're getting a great eccentric load to the shoulder capsule. And we're getting all those external rotators, all the rotator cuff muscles and muscles around the scapula to really turn on and do their job. Push, push, push. Slowly beat me, beat me, beat me, beat me. Okay, good. So that's the way I like to teach the partner-assisted shoulder hinge exercise. The next one will be a rotational hinge. Okay, so variation number 2 of the shoulder hinge is going to be a rotational shoulder hinge. Very similar setup, except you can do this one on your own. I like it because it ties in all of the deep fascial lines of the arm. So what we'll do here, he's going to be stacked shoulder on top of shoulder again, whatever is comfortable with this hand, and we're going to instruct him to slowly start to push the floor away with this elbow as hard as he can until he begins to elevate off of the ground. And torso stays super stiff here, and he's going to slowly come to a pronated position. Go ahead and go for a few reps so we can see how you're doing it. Good. And as he comes up, he's going to firmly press the outside of his forearm and hand into the ground, and then rotate down into pronation and press his full hand firmly into the ground. And slowly come back. So this is really challenging all these scapular stabilizers, all the rotator cuff muscles, teaching them how to work together. One more time for me. You can play with the tempo here too. You can go nice and slow like he's going here, or you can even pause in certain positions of this to make it even more intense. This is great to do before throwing, after as a cool down, or just to add in and incorporate into your daily routine. Very nice. And let's go ahead and sit up. So one thing that Cody had mentioned is he had all these hot spots kind of in the back of his shoulder, and he felt the need to use a lacrosse ball. Is that right? And after doing these, it seems like that's changed things. Would you just tell them a little bit about what you felt and how this has changed what you're feeling?
Yeah, so in the, my whole career pretty much, after you'd pitch or, the day after or even that night after, I'd get these, tight spots in the back of your shoulder, and it wouldn't be necessarily painful, but it'd be really sore. So I'd take a baseball or a lacrosse ball and kind of attack those and try to massage them out. But I think those two exercises are probably what have got those to go away. So now when I get done pitching the next day, typically I don't have those hot spots, and I haven't had to, attack those as much.
Right on. So we think what's going on typically with all these hot spots or trigger points, some people call them, or focal areas of hypersensitivity, is they're there for a reason. And typically they're there because the scapula is not stabilizing as well as it maybe could be. And if we just keep attacking the problem and not really addressing why it's there in the first place, then we're just kind of masking. And really what these little points are there for is they're actually there to stabilize an unstabilized shoulder. So if we keep on mashing it or dry needling them, which some people do, then we're taking away the stabilization our body's setting down. And we may actually cause more problems than if we don't first address stabilizing why it was there in the first place, which is the scapula. Okay, so the last variation we'll go through today for the shoulder hinge, I just call the straight hinge. This one you can do on your own, and when done correctly, it will add a little bit more challenge to the posterior capsule and actually provides a good stretch as well as strengthening it. So it's easy to cheat with this one. Let's make sure we coach this very specifically and you pay attention here. Get in a side bridge position. Now inch this bottom elbow out about 12 inches. So put this hand down so you have some support. Bring this elbow forward. Raise the hand up off the ground and make a fist for me. Good. And now come back to neutral here and I'll coach you through this. We're going to take this shoulder and the torso and hinge slowly to where it's rotating towards this forearm. Good. And hold there. And now you should begin to feel a good amount of load in the back of the shoulder because it's literally what's holding you up. Now take this hand and reach it forward towards that wall. This will be your counterbalance as you descend back into the exercise. So now take this shoulder and reach back towards me and hold. Drive that elbow as hard as you can through the floor. Crush some walnuts in your fist and hold this position isometrically. 5 to 10 seconds or so and come back up. You can see how much he's shaking. I'm okay with that. If you're not shaking, you're probably not doing it right. So now hinge back again for me. This hand's your counterbalance. And pause. Crush walnuts in your hands. Drive the elbow through the ground as hard as you can. And don't let yourself move for 5 to 10 seconds. And come back up. All right, I think this concludes our shoulder hinging exercises. Next, we'll go into some variations with the kettlebell arm bar. So exercise number 2 is the kettlebell arm bar. I like the kettlebell arm bar because it teaches you to be very mindful. It requires a lot of focus and also teaches you to move your body around a fixed object. and it applies a good amount of load to the scapula, the thoracolumbar junction area. So we get a lot of thoracic rotation, and it's just a great exercise in general for baseball players. So go ahead and go on your side. I want you to pick a kettlebell, learning this first, that's light enough to where you're not going to drop it on your head, but also heavy enough that you have to give it some respect. So hug it on your side in the fetal position, and then roll to your back. And Cody's going to make this look easy because he's been doing it for a while, but it's going to take you a little bit of time to get it down. So you'll notice that the inside leg is down, and he's going to press it up with two hands. This hand's going to go down for support, and now he's going to begin to press so hard through the ceiling that he starts to rotate. And I want you to use this heel as your guide to roll over. And now he's going to bring this foot behind the knee down, and get some length and start to reach here. Reach towards me this way. Reach. There you go. And then slowly come back. Drop this knee. Foot behind the knee. He's going to control it with this heel. And then come back to the starting position. We're going to do that one more time, very slow, so you can see what it looks like. So go ahead and press up. And the chin's up here, by the way. He's looking at the weights the whole time. Good. Nice stiff belly. For some of you, stop there for me. This may be as far as you get. We want to stay stiff here and stiff here. If you start just rotating about the lumbar spine, we're kind of defeating the purpose of this exercise. So you may need to do this for a period of time. Once you get to the level of Cody, extend the leg and try and bring your belt buckle over towards the floor. And here you can play with rotations and mix it up. Keep your eyes on the numbers the whole time and then come back. All right, knees bent, two hands on the kettlebell, and then bring it down. And then you're just going to roll back to a safe position, and that's it. Okay, so variation number 2 of the kettlebell arm bar is something I call the anterior sling press. I call it that because it does a good job of activating the anterior oblique sling, which is great for pitchers or anyone. It also adds a rotational challenge and some therapeutic load to the bicep tendon. So we'll start in the same position, kind of in the sideline fetal position as the kettlebell arm bar, and then we're going to roll to your back, and we'll go nice and slow here. So there's a couple options I gave Cody. Go ahead and press it up. First one being here. It would be switch the feet for me. There we go. So he's going to elevate the inside leg right there. And now he's going to bring the kettlebell down and press it up and corkscrew in. I like corkscrewing here because it winds up the shoulder fascia, and then come back down and up. And then I also like to teach athletes to cross midline a little bit. This adds a little bit more challenge to the shoulder blade, the serratus anterior, and the oblique sling here. And back down. Another thing I would have him play with is head up to strengthen the neck in this position. And press. Good. And back down. Now another option is we bend this knee, we straighten this leg, and we float it. Now there's really a rotational challenge. He's got to suck down the rib cage here. Good. Stay stiff here. Heads up. And go ahead and press. Perfect. So you see how much rotation he gets here. He's really activating this sling. And keep going. Good. And back down. So this is just a variation I like to do. And now you can float right into the kettlebell arm bar. So he's going to bring this one back, drop that leg down, press up, and this is just kind of a great movement flow. And he can go, foot behind the knee, straightens here. Good, and let's bring that foot back behind the knee. One option here, we can take this knee, drive it through the floor, and now he can slowly lower and do a little sideline lat press. Just as low as he's comfortable with here. And back up, rotate, and back down. Feel okay on the shoulder? Mm-hmm. Okay. And come back to the starting position. So that's the second variation of the kettlebell arm bar. And we'll go through the third one in just a moment here. Okay, so the third variation of the kettlebell arm bar isn't really an arm bar at all, but it's a movement that adds a little variability. I think it makes things a little bit more fun. And you can really take this one to fatigue as a standalone exercise, or you can kind of work it into your arm bar flow. So I don't have a great name for it. I just call it the turtle crawl we came up with. So start in the same position here as the arm bar on your side. Roll to your back. And we'll do several reps here so you can get the hang of it because it is a little complex. Inside leg is straight. We're going to float it up and hold it in that position the whole time. Go ahead and press the kettlebell to the ceiling and start whichever way you want. Oh, you're already up this way. So he's going to kind of corkscrew in and cross body here, and he's going to post up on this shoulder and forearm and drive through that heel. So he's going to get the glute involved on this side, the posterior oblique sling, and the anterior oblique sling. And go ahead and go down. And now he's going to pivot. He's going to post up on this side. This hand's going to reach. And then we're going to come back and repeat. And slowly over time, that heel inches back, and he starts crawling very slowly like a turtle. He's getting a lot of load through the whole system. We don't even really need to break down what's going on. This is a great exercise for the demands that he has when pitching. So you can do it continuously like he's doing. You can speed it up, slow it down. You can pause at the top here and really challenge it. If you have a partner, you can make him push you up. You can add a little perturbation challenge and come back down, or you can take it right into the regular kettlebell arm bar. Hand down here, press up, and this is just part of a movement flow. Good. And then he'll go back, and don't overthink it. Maybe he'll just go right back into the crawl. Maybe he'll do a few more kettlebell arm bars. So that's the third and final variation of the kettlebell arm bar. I hope you guys find it useful. Okay, so the third and final exercise that we'll go through is a DNS-based exercise, and it's very effective, and when it's done correctly, it can be very intense, but it's really easy to cheat. So we're going to go through all of the steps in order to get you in the right spot. It won't seem so in-depth once you get it down, but at the start, when you're learning it, it might really seem like a pain because there's so many little things involved. I call it the greedy baby, and we'll show you why in a minute. So he's going to start face down here. He's going to keep the chin packed for me, double chin. Okay. I'm going to tell him to pretend like I'm going to punch him in the sides here. So I want him to brace as if I'm going to punch him. Now he's going to pretend like there's a belt in a full 360 around his back, sides, and abdomen. He's going to breathe into that belt, really getting a lot of intra-abdominal pressure into that brace. Now that he's got that, he's going to hold that and attempt to breathe normally while the brace is maintained. The insides of the thumbs here and the insides of the wrists are going to be driving through the ground. Outside of the hand is up. Also a lot of pressure through the insides of the elbows. Now I'm going to ask him to take the bottom of his zipper and bring it towards the floor. If you do this correctly, this will add a little posterior tilt to the pelvis. Okay? Now I want you to press the floor away with your elbows and elevate your torso and abdomen. So this isn't the actual exercise, but it's a good teaching tool to make sure he's in the right position here and here. Okay? He's got that down well. So now what we're going to have him do is bring either side leg up, whichever is good for you. Good. He's going to recheck here to make sure he has good pressure. He's going to posteriorly tilt his pelvis again. He's going to push me up here. And now elevate this side. Good. So he can go bent elbow here. We're trying to get length between the elbows. Okay, so you can help them by pulling. And then go back down. Let's do that same variation. So press me up. Posting up on this scapula, it's challenging the shoulder blade a ton, and we're getting a lot of thoracolumbar junction rotation. And reach. Good. And one thing you'll see, some people will try and kiss their shoulder blades together. We want to try and avoid that, especially with pitchers. We want everything to move together and create length between the two elbows. And back down. He's doing a nice job. He's shaking. That means he's really working. Push up. Now let's go the straight arm version, the greedy baby version. So arm straight, and he's reaching towards me. I have a cupcake, and he's a greedy baby, and he wants it. Good. And back down. So you can do isometric holds up here, or you can do multiple reps. This is the way that I like to coach it. Hopefully it works well for you. Okay, so that concludes our series on the top 3 shoulder exercises for pitchers. I hope that was useful. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments section below, and have a great day.